It's been a while, but there just haven't been that many like exciting releases lately, and I haven't had like a lot of time. I've been really busy with work and everything. But lately we have some new releases. So we have some things to look at today. I've already done my base. It's Westman Atelier foundation drops and their concealer and Louis Vuitton on my eyes. And so the pink one, I'll put it down below which one it is. I can't remember the name exactly. But today we're going to look at some new cheek products and some new lip products. Cheek products, well, we have the new Victoria Beckham color wash in tan lines, which is an extension of her blushes, the color wash blushes, which I really love. But this is in a bronzer form. There's two shades of this, and I picked up the lighter of the two, which is called Tan Lines. And then we also have from the summer collection the new Forever Glow Maximizer, and this is in Sunburst. So we're going to take a look at that. That's why there's no blush on the cheeks today. Then we have new lip products to look at from the Dior summer collection. We have Solar number 25 in their plumping lip gloss. We have the new Victoria Beckham shade number 2, which goes with a very popular liner that she already has in her collection. And then the one I'm most excited about, we have 3 shades of the new Celine matte lip balms. I love the Celine lipstick formula, the satin, and now they've come out with their matte lip balms. So if that sounds good to you, and believe me, we're going to compare these products where we can, then please consider liking, subscribing, following along, shopping my links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps me out. And what else? Oh, tell your friends that like this kind of content. Tune in. I'm here. I'm waiting. Okay, let's get to it. So liquid bronzers, they're not always my favorite thing, but when you find a really good one that works and works with your skin tone and also works with just the color and texture you like, then you've hit the jackpot. Now, I think it was 2 years ago, Victoria Beckham came out with her color wash blushes, and these are really unique. They give you like a watercolor effect. They build up very slowly. They are a stain, so you have to be careful. She puts them like on the back of her hand and rubs them in. It's going to stain your fingers if you do that. So I suggest getting like a little bowl or a little tray like this, and that way you can really work it into your brush. I really love these. I have 2 colors. Let's see, I have Vintage Rose and I have Flushed. But she has released 2 new shades, and they are in her bronzer line, same formula, but there are 2 new shades, kind of a light medium and then a medium dark. I got the light medium, which is called Tan Line. So we're going to look at that today. We're going to apply it, and then we're going to compare and contrast it with some other popular liquid bronzy kind of contour products that I have. So these are really beautiful. Like I said, they will stain, so you want to be careful. What I like to do is shake it up, and then you press the top, and that's what pulls the fluid up into it. And then I find that 2.5 drops will do my entire face. So I'm gonna just put out kind of 2 kind of medium-sized drops in this little tray. And what I like to do is take a brush, kind of a dense brush, like this Merit little brush, which I love. It's what I put on my foundation with, and really work it into the brush. Because that way, and kind of really get in there, because that way it will evenly distribute through the bristles. And then you just kind of place it, and it gives you like that watercolor effect But you wouldn't even have to have this on foundation. It's so subtle and nice and easy to work with that you could just throw it on by itself. I really like this formula though. I think it's kind of foolproof. Sure, it's a little messy, but the thing is it's long lasting. And once it gets on and it won't move. Now what I'm going to do is add an extra drop here because I really want to just enhance the color to show you. I would be perfectly happy with where it's at now, and I think that's a really pretty color. It's pretty close to the color that I am when I tan. I'll show you on the back of my hand, even though I said it would stain, and it will. But it's very subtle and buildable, and that's what I love so much about these. Again, this is the tan lines, and it looks a little bit warmer on my hand than it does on application. So I'm going to do yet another coat here just to show you that you really can get a very nice subtle bronze with it. It is a bronzer. It's not a contour. She has a contour stick, but this is going to add warmth to your foundation. And again, once it sets down, it doesn't move. It is a stain. So it's a really beautiful product. And you can't really clock it. Like, even if you overdo it a little bit, you can't really see that I have it on. And that's one thing that I really love about these products. And I really like the colors. So I'm glad she put that out. I wanted to show you as a comparison. I guess I'm going to have to stain my hand tonight just to show you, because I want to get it a little bit deeper. With some very popular comparisons. So that's a pretty heavy dose of the Victoria Beckham. Other popular liquid bronzers that I like, and of course these are going to be much more concentrated because these are much more pigmented. They're thicker. This is water essentially, so you don't really feel it. But this is the Armani. These are the bronzing drops, and I have mine in the shade 100. These are really great. I don't know why they never really blew up, but I think they're really beautiful, and that color is really beautiful. But you can see right there, it's a different kind of opacity, and this is a thicker product. It's more like a traditional liquid bronzer. I also have the one from Natasha Denona, and this is in the shade, is that Jump? Foxy. Turn it over, Wayne. And these are also kind of, this is a nice one. This one's quite a bit thicker than even the Armani one. But you can see it has the same consistency, same pigment level. It's just a little thicker. It's also a little bit lighter. Although I know that Armani one comes in a lighter color as well. Two others that I pulled, I have Gentle from Rare Beauty, which I think is going to be more of a contour shade. And it's also thicker. Less pigmented though. Yeah, that's more of a contour type shade. But the one that I thought was the closest is this one from Westman Atelier. They've actually come out with a powder version of this, but these are the Sun Tone Bronzing Drops, and I have mine in shade number 1, Soleil Parfait number 1. And so I'm going to put it over here just to show you. And it is thinner. So it is the thinnest and kind of second most watery of the ones I've showed you. So we have the Westman Atelier in the Parfait 1, and then we have the, oh god, am I forgetting it? Natasha Denona in the shade Foxy, Armani in the 100. This washed one here is the new Victoria Beckham color wash in tan lines. And then over here is that contour. It's just the other liquid one I have. It doesn't really go with the others, but it's from Rare Beauty. So you can see the closest one is the Westman Atelier, but I actually much prefer the Victoria Beckham. It's lighter and it's going to give you more of a watercolor effect, where these are much thicker and deeper. But that would be the closest one. If you like the Westwood Atelier, I think you would like the Victoria Beckham a lot. And look how beautiful that looks on. So those are those swatches. I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to come back because we have so many new lip products to look at. Now, before we get to lips, I have a new highlighting product today, and it's not a new product, but it's a shade extension, and it's the Victoria Christian, Dior Forever Glow Maximizer. There's about 15 or 17 of these now, between the limited edition ones. But this one is called Sunburst, and it's part of their summer series. They had a couple of eyeshadow palettes, a lot of lip products. They had a powder highlighter and this highlighter. They also had nail polishes. The only things that really interested me from the collection were the liquid highlighter and the powder highlighter, which does come in that beautiful Jonathan Anderson collaborated case with the leather flowers and the little bug on it. So I'm going to get that when it becomes available, but that's really it from that series that I liked. The bronzers looked really beautiful, but then I realized that they were just repromotes of old limited edition bronzers they've had in the past. So I did pick up this Sunburst, and it is a beautiful peachy pink kind of nude color, and I'll show you on my hand here. Highlighters are the trickiest to show off, but it is kind of a beautiful nude with kind of like peach flecks in it. Beautiful color for the summer. And I have all of them, I think. And there are 3 others that I thought would be the closest to this. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you those now. The first one is Gold, which I believe is in the permanent line. And it is much more gold by name. You can see it down below. It's much more metallic. This one's more of kind of a nude with some peach in it. Then I have Peach, which I also think is in the permanent line. And it is warmer and more peach, so that would make sense than this new Sunburst. But beautiful. And then the final one is Nude, which I actually think may have been limited edition. I don't know why, because it's such a popular color. And it is by far the closest to Sunburst. So it's down here, and you can see it's the most sort of natural looking one. And it's really similar in the pigmentation, except this one has just different colored sparkles in it, really. But those are quite close. So you just need to ask yourself, if you have Nude, do you want Sunburst? I think they look pretty different. Nude is definitely cooler, but you know, if you want to save money and you have Nude, you could probably mix Nude and Peach together and get something very close to Sunburst. But what we'll do is we're going to grab Sunburst, and I like to put 2 or 3 dots of this. These are really beautiful products. Some of them are pink and dark browns and kind of rosy shades, and those are nice because you can use those as blushes or blush toppers. But this one is pretty made for a highlighter, at least on my skin tone. And you can see it does have a little bit of a peachy pink reflex, but otherwise it's pretty transparent. There's not a ton of big chunky glitter particles, which are in some of them. Like the original white one has some big chunky kind of glitter particles in it. This one doesn't. What I'm going to do is put a second coat now, because you know I like to overdo it just so you get a good idea. And what I like to do with these sometimes is take the accompanying powder highlighter and put that on top of it, and it really doubles it up, but this also gives it a nice base to stick to. But this is a pretty color. It really is like if the peach and the nude had, you know, a love child. But look how beautiful and wet looking that makes your skin. So that's the new highlighter product. Now we can get to the lips. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, that was an adventure because I knew, you know, when you know you have something and you're like, it's got to be in here. Well, it was in my lip liner drawer, and it is the number 2 lip definer from Victoria Beckham. I love the Victoria Beckham, much like her liners, her eyeliners. I love her lip liners, and number 2 is said to be her favorite shade. I think it's kind of the most universal shade. It's kind of a pinky nude, not too cool, not too warm. Well, what she's come out with in her lipstick formula, in the Posh Lip formula, is a lipstick version of it. So I'm going to put this next to it. We're going to see. Okay, I don't see that those are the same. The lipstick looks a little cooler, does it not? Or the liner's a little more neutral. But perhaps the goal is to wear them together to create a uniform look. And so let's see what they turn out like. Okay, I'll bring you in a little closer. Okay, so I'm going to take my number 2 liner and just do a quick little line on here. This is one of my favorite liners. I use it with everything, really. Westman Atelier, Victoria Beckham, they both make really beautiful liners, among other companies. This number 2 to me is more of a contour color. Kind of reminds me of a slightly pinkier version of Westman Atelier's Biscuit. Beautiful with this eye look, though. Okay, and then this is the Victoria Beckham, the new Posh Lip. This is in number 2, and I really like these. They're a heavy component, really beautiful, but they also have a smaller bullet, so they're easy to work with. Did I just put that on my tooth? I think I did. That's not appealing. Okay, how does that work? Those do not look the same. But then when you marry the two together, they just work really well together. I don't know, but that's a beautiful, just kind of basic, beautiful nude kind of lip, a little bit of rose in there. I think you could wear that color combination all year long. And these are really comfortable, and like I said, the component is really slim and beautiful. The formula is really comfortable, long lasting. It's got a nice amount of shine to it. She also has some beautiful glosses, but I think this looks nice by itself. So that's the lipstick we're going to look at today, but we have lots of other lip products. So I'm going to take this off and we'll come right back. That was really weird because I looked in my little spot mirror, you know, that's like 4 times strength or whatever. And those two colors that looked different on my hand looked completely uniform, the same color when they were on the lip. I don't know how they did that, but for whatever reason, those work beautifully together. Now, the second product I have is also from the new Dior summer collection, and it's one of their lip maximizers. People go nuts for these. I think they're okay. I kind of am more like color driven by them, and even then, you know, sometimes they can look the same when you get them on the lips. But they did come out with some beautiful summer colors, including a cerulean blue, which is kind of interesting. got a good amount of blue kind of lip balmy things, including like the new one from Chanel. So the one I picked up is called Solar number 25, and I know that it's sold out. It's kind of a rust color, but I think that they'll definitely have it back in stock. And these, if you haven't tried them before, they are beautiful, but they have that kind of plumping, cool, there's a mint smell and a cooling texture. So I'm just going to show you quickly what this looks like. Okay, that is a pretty color. I can't deny that. And gosh, they must have like 50 or 60 of these. I only have 2 or 3 of these. I've never been a huge fan of them. I think they're great. You know, it's just never been something that's really excited me. But they do have that nice cooling, plumping feeling. And you really just want to go with a color you really like. This is a beautiful summer color. Solar goes really well, and it's obviously part of the same series as this Sunburst. So if you like that kind of color, I think they came out with 4 or 5 new shades. One is blue, one is pink, one is kind of peach, and then this one's kind of more of a rust color. Let me put it on the back of my hand just so you can see it. It's always funny when I put these on the back of my hand because your hand tingles. There's so much mint oil in them. But you can see there, that's like a beautiful, muted, rusty peach kind of color. And I'll swatch it next to that highlighter Sunburst, just so you can see kind of where they're going with this collection. I mean, that's just a beautiful summer look right there. Okay, now we're going to get to the ones that I'm super excited about. So I'm going to take this off and then I'll be right back. So one of my favorite lipstick formulas, and really maybe my favorite, it's right there with like Louis Vuitton's really nice, some Tom Ford's really nice, but is the Celine Paris lipsticks. Now, I think the reason why these have kind of a cult following, but they haven't, you know, they're not everywhere, is you have to get them at Celine stores or Celine website or some like Saks that have a Celine store within them do have the Celine lipsticks and the Celine fragrances. And if you've never tried these Celine fragrances, Reptile, Night Clubbing, and Black Tie, those are spectacular fragrances. But they come in this beautiful gold bullet with a little sleeve, and they're just a beautiful satin formula. And I really, really love them. They're super lightweight, thin. It's a magnetic component, really chic. And they're, I think, $70 for the lipstick, but you can also buy the refills and they're $50 and they interchange. And so I was interested when I found out earlier this year that they were going to come out with a balm, because these matte kind of lip balms that are more like lip blushes are so popular right now. You know, there's the new YSL ones that are kind of like a blush, a lip blush, but they're matte. And then, of course, there is the Louis Vuitton balms, which are also beautiful and matte. And now Celine's trying them. So, of course, we're going to compare some like colors today. But the Celine ones come in the same beautiful sleeve with a little Celine emblem on them. But they are silver, where the lipsticks are gold. Same price, same component. You could interchange them if you wanted to have like the gold or the silver for the night. And the refills are gold or silver, so that's how you can keep them straight. Because I have a good number of these Celines. Like I said, I think they're one of my favorite formulas. So let me show you these. And again, they are refillable, just like the lipsticks, and you can pop them quickly in and out. Gorgeous component. It says La Rouge Celine on it, and then it has the Celine emblem. I'm a Celine boy. I love Celine. So let me show you these new shades. I believe they came out with 8. 7 of them are colored, and then there's a plain one, which I can't really justify a clear one. So the first one we have is Horrence, and you can see it's a beautiful bullet. It's a matte balm, and well, I'll show you. It does have the emblem on it, but this is Horrence, which is kind of a brownie pink. And you can see that it's very light. That's one pass of the color. But if you do 2 to 3 passes, you can really build these up. And I noticed that if you're just swatching them on the back of the hand with just one pass, they're all going to look pretty much the same. But when you start building them up, that's when you see the difference in color. So this is Horrence. And then I also have Eurydice, which is a much bolder, kind of peachy red shade. You can see that's really beautiful. And then the other one I have is Raphael. And this one is a brick red. Much more orange than the other ones. Much warmer. So you can see there, they're really beautiful. And they are gorgeous on. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is just show you some popular ones from other brands. Now these YSL ones, the new, what are they called? Love Nude mattes. I don't know color-wise how they're going to stack up. Maybe this one. So this is number 8. And these are more of a matte lipstick. But they do have a similar effect in the sense that they're a blush. But you can see they're so much more pigmented. And then the other one I have in that formula is the 44 Nude Lavalier, which is kind of their signature. And it too, you can see it's much more pigmented, but they're kind of in the same family. The closest one that I have to these are the Louis Vuitton ones. So let me show you. I pulled 4 shades that I thought could be somewhat similar to these. And these two I think are really beautiful. So the first one I have, actually I pulled 3 shades. Okay. The first one I have is Monogram Touch, which is kind of a brownish red shade. These are similar. So you can see maybe they're slightly more pigmented, and the Celine ones are slightly more matte, but they're more similar to the Louis Vuitton than the YSL. So that's Monogram Touch, which is a dark kind of chocolatey color. And then there's Rose Essential, which I think is going to be pretty close to this middle shade. Yeah, it's somewhat close to this middle one here. These are the most similar, I would say, even in texture and the way they feel on the lips. Although I will say, I think that the Celine ones are a little bit more matte. So if you truly like a matte balm, I think you'll like the Celine. The last one I have is Nude Poetry, which I think is really beautiful. And I'll just put that over here. And it's probably closest to the first one over here. But you can see there that the Celine and the Louis Vuitton are kind of the closest. Of course, the difference is these are $169. This is $70. So now the refill prices are less, but they're still much more expensive if you go with the Louis Vuitton. Component's really beautiful too, and I really do love the Louis Vuitton. I think they're kind of like, I would describe them as a low impact lipstick. The balms. Now the lipsticks they have, the satins and the mattes, they're beautiful, just like the Celine lipsticks. But I'm going to try these 3 on for you today. And I'm going to do that because I think on the hand they look very similar, but I want you to see, and they do on first application look very similar. It's when you build them up that you start to see the differences. So this is Horrence, which is that kind of dark reddy brown one. And you can see it's not a ton of color, but they build really beautifully. Now, the one thing about Celine is that it does have a fragrance. I do find that it dissipates though. And I think these look really beautiful. They look washed, very perfecting. They make lines kind of blur away. They're hydrating, but these are probably the most matte of the balms that I have. And they feel really beautiful when they're set. So this is Horrence. And for the record, that's this one. You can see how much more pigmented they are when you put them on the lip. Okay, let me get this one off and I'll show you the next one. The thing I like about these Celines is they take building, but they're much more gentle. You can get if you just do one coat, you can barely see them, and then slowly they build up. So this is the second shade, which I think is Your Dice, and it's the middle one here. And you can see this one's got a little bit more rose in it, or the other one had more brown. If I go back, I'll probably they have some actual brown ones. They have one that kind of looks like peanut butter. It's a weird color, but I think it would be really beautiful in this formula. So that's probably the most standard color, but really beautiful. Okay, I'll take it off. We'll come back and look at the last one, which is Raphael, and it's the more orangey coral one. Okay, this final one, Raphael, is the most orangey corally of the three that I have. And I can tell immediately with this one, it's more orange. They feel really beautiful. They're the same lightweight, thin formula that the original Celine lipsticks are. You can see it's getting warmer, but really beautiful, so lightweight, and luxurious feeling. And that smell, I don't mind it. It smells beautiful, but it will dissipate. If you've never tried the Celine lipsticks or the Celine fragrance line, definitely give it a try, because I think these balms are just an extension of a beautiful line. And that's the thing. They only do lipsticks and fragrance in their beauty department. So, they've kind of stuck to, I think there's 14 or 15 lipsticks, and now there's these 8 balms. Really beautiful. Okay, so we have kind of had a whirlwind today of looking at new bronzers and comparisons, highlighters and comparisons, and then lots of different kinds of lip formulas and comparisons. I want to thank you for joining. I know that I haven't been as regular with my posting, but I've been incredibly busy, and also there just haven't been a ton of products that are coming out that I'm that excited about. The Sephora sale's coming, but I tend to use the Sephora sale to restock on things that I use a lot, like Tatcha, Pat McGrath, Intensify Wand, Westman Atelier, contour sticks, those kind of things, more than trying new products. But that is coming up, and the Nordstrom sale will be here soon. So maybe this has given you a few things to look at when they hit their various stores. If you like this kind of content, then I really would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, follow along, and shop my links. Hopefully you've liked what you've seen today, and you've got some ideas about the new products that are out. I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.